Our house stood tall and proud, a testament to the passage of time and the stories it held within its walls. It was a grand old place with a history as rich as its old bones. Each room, each corner, seemed to whisper secrets of the past, tales of joy and sorrow, of life lived fully. Each floorboard creaked with stories whispered through generations. The sound was a comforting reminder of the many feet that had walked these halls, the lives that had been lived here. The scent of old books and antique furniture filled the air, a rich, musty aroma that spoke of knowledge and history, of countless hours spent in quiet contemplation. It was our home, a place where love and laughter echoed through the years. The walls had seen countless family gatherings, celebrations, and quiet moments of togetherness. My family had lived in this house for as long as anyone could remember. It was a place where generations had grown up, each leaving their mark, their memories, their love. My grandparents had grown up within its walls, their laughter still echoing in its heart. They had shared stories of their childhood, of the games they played, the lessons they learned. Now it was ours, a legacy of memories and a testament to the enduring strength of family. We were the keepers of its stories, the guardians of its history. Every corner held a story, every room a memory. The kitchen, where meals were shared and secrets whispered. The living room, where we gathered around the fire on cold winter nights. It was more than just bricks and mortar. It was a living, breathing entity, a part of our family, woven into the fabric of our lives. It was us, and we loved it. The house was a symbol of our unity, our shared history, and our love. It was a place where we felt safe, where we belonged, where we were home. One night, a storm raged outside. The wind howled like a banshee, rattling the windows. It was as if nature itself was in a fit of rage, unleashing its fury upon the world. The sound was deafening, a constant roar that seemed to shake the very foundations of our home. Rain lashed against the glass, sounding like 1,000 tiny fingers tapping for entry. Each drop seemed to carry with it a sense of urgency, a desperate plea to be let inside. The relentless pounding of the rain created a rhythm, a chaotic symphony that played on and on. The old house groaned and creaked under the assault, its usual comforting sounds now amplified into something unsettling. The wooden beams, which had stood the test of time, now seemed to protest against the storm's relentless onslaught. Every creak and groan was a reminder of the house's age, and for the first time it felt vulnerable. Inside, we huddled together in the warm living room. A fire crackled in the hearth, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The flickering flames provided a sense of comfort, a stark contrast to the chaos outside. We drew closer to each other, finding solace in our shared warmth and the familiar glow of the fire. The room felt safe, a haven from the wildness outside. The thick walls and sturdy roof provided a barrier, keeping the storm at bay. Yet, despite the warmth and safety, there was an underlying tension that none of us could shake off. But the storm's fury seemed to seep into our sanctuary, bringing with it an unease that settled over us like a shroud. The howling wind and pounding rain were constant reminders of the tempest outside, and it was hard to ignore the feeling that something was amiss. The power flickered, plunging us into darkness for a fleeting moment before sputtering back to life. Each flicker was a jolt to our nerves, a reminder of how fragile our sense of security really was. The brief moments of darkness felt like an eternity, and when the lights returned, they brought only a temporary relief. A nervous giggle escaped my little sister, quickly swallowed by the growing tension. Her laughter, usually a source of joy, now felt out of place, almost eerie. It was as if the storm had taken hold of our emotions, twisting them into something unrecognizable. something felt different, off. The storm seemed to be stirring something more than just the leaves outside. It was as if it had a life of its own, a malevolent force that sought to disrupt our peace. The trees outside swayed violently, their branches thrashing against each other like restless spirits. The storm clouds loomed ominously, casting a dark shadow over everything. It was a night that none of us would soon forget, a night when the storm raged not just outside, but within our hearts as well. Then, with a suddenness that made us jump, the lights went out completely. The room was plunged into an absolute darkness, the comforting crackle of the fire lost in the sudden silence. Fear, sharp and cold, pricked at the edges of my courage.
Don't worry, kids. Probably just the storm. I'll go check the circuit breaker.
He patted my shoulder reassuringly before disappearing down the hallway, his silhouette swallowed by the darkness that seemed to pulsate with the rhythm of the storm. His footsteps echoed in the sudden silence, each step raising the tension. We waited, holding our breath, listening for the reassuring click of the circuit breaker. But the silence stretched on, broken only by the relentless onslaught of the storm.
I'll go see what's keeping him. Minutes ticked by, each one feeling like an eternity. The silence in the wake of my father's departure was deafening. The storm raged on, its fury mirroring the anxiety twisting in my gut. Where was he?
My mother, her face etched with worry, finally broke the silence. I wanted to tell her to wait, to stay with us, but the words caught in my throat. Fear, heavy and cold, settled over me. She disappeared down the hallway, following my father's path into the darkness. Her silhouette vanished, leaving me alone with my little sister, the storm our only companion. The house, once a sanctuary, suddenly felt vast and menacing, filled with unseen dangers lurking in the shadows.
Where did they go? Why did they leave us alone?
My little sister Lily clung to me, her eyes wide with fear. She was trembling and I could feel her tiny hands gripping my shirt tightly.
They'll be back soon, Lily, I promise. We just have to be brave for a little while longer.
I didn't know what to tell her. The truth, that I was just as scared as she was, wouldn't help. I had to be strong for her, even if I felt like crying myself. I forced confidence into my voice, hoping it sounded more convincing than it felt. I had to make her believe that everything would be okay. But even as I spoke, a shiver ran down my spine. The darkness seemed to press in on us from all sides, and the silence was deafening. The house felt different, colder, as if something unseen had slipped in with the storm. The wind howled outside, making the windows rattle and the floorboards creak. We couldn't stay here, alone in the dark. The shadows seemed to move, and every little noise made us jump.
Come on, Lily, let's go find Mom and Dad. We can't just sit here and wait.
Together we stepped into the hallway, our footsteps echoing in the silent house. The darkness seemed to swallow us, and I held Lily's hand tightly. Each creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind against the windows sent shivers down my spine. I tried to stay calm, but my heart was pounding in my chest. We peeked into each room, calling out for our parents, but there was no answer. The house felt emptier with each step we took. Finally, we found a flashlight in the kitchen drawer. The beam of light cut through the darkness, giving us a small sense of relief. With the flashlight in hand, we felt a little braver. We continued our search, determined to find our parents and make sense of the eerie silence that surrounded us. Step by step, we moved forward, the flashlight guiding our way. The shadows seemed less threatening now, and we held on to the hope that we would find our parents soon. We were scared, but we had each other, and together we would brave the shadows and find our way through the darkness.
Did you hear that? The hallway was dark, the only light coming from the occasional flash of lightning through the windows at the far end. Each flash illuminated dust motes dancing in the air, turning them into fleeting, ghostly apparitions. As we walked, I thought I heard whispers, soft and indistinct, coming from the direction of the attic door. The old wooden door was slightly ajar, a sliver of inky blackness peering out like an open maw.
Lily whispered, clinging tighter to my hand. I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. The whispers seemed to grow stronger, beckoning us closer. We were drawn to the attic, a sense of dread and irresistible curiosity, pulling us towards the unknown.